Okay, everyone. So basically what happened is the audio for this episode ended up funky Rona Mona times a bajoni. So I'm just going to do a little bit of post talking to you all. And basically, I have resources upon resources upon resources, and it is finally time to start building that monument to Gregory that we promised to build 7 episodes ago. So it's going to be really fantastic here. I'm really excited to get building, and I'm also really excited here because I am using this beautiful new pop filter for my blue snowball make. And so it's just very nice to be able to go and without having to worry about just the crackle sound. Previously, I'd been doing some experimenting with recording with my headset mic that I had bought. The headset mic was mostly for the purposes of Skype communications because I don't like using my I don't like having my blue snowball plugged in all the time, but it also wasn't too great using my webcam all the time. But anyway, I digress. Basically, the audio from said mic did not turn out sufficient. So back to the blue snowball with a fantastic new the pop filter looks really cool too. It's the official blue pop filter. But you know, enough of my my buying habits. Here I think we will find a really nice spot for the building up of our doggy, and I could not for the life of me remember what a wolf looked like. So what I did was I went into a little creative world, spawned a little wolf, made a little cage. It went pretty well, just had to shove the wolf in there, do a little analyzing on the pixels. It actually turned out not being too difficult to build a wolf. That's the really nice thing about Minecraft being a pixely game, is you can just literally count the pixels on something and get a fairly accurate representation of it built out in the block format. Unfortunately, the color palette of Minecraft isn't so great, because you either have wool, which looks ridiculous, or you have clay, which doesn't actually look like the color it's supposed to look like. I'm still really bitter about the blue clay being secretly purple on the inside, but you know, winners can't be choosers. That's not how that saying goes. I butchered that really badly. But I feel like this nice grass plain here, kind of a little ways away from the house, I think that's going to make a really nice place to build the monument. We can flatten the area out, build up the blocks, and all other forms of merriment. So I think that is going to be excelente. Of course, there's a lot of holes, and fortunately, I have a whole mountain's worth of cobble. Like, literally, if I was going to take all of my cobble and build it into a mountain, it would be a mountain approximately the size of Olympia, give or take a few greases. Like, if you could take a grease out of Olympia, actually, let's be honest, Olympia is not a very large mountain. Like, had the Greeks lived next to Mount Everest and been like, behold, for our gods live upon this mount, I would be like, wow, no one except the Sherpas live up there. How could anyone possibly imagine going up there? Yeah, that's another thing. Like, the Sherpas should be like demigods to the Greeks, because they freaking live up there, top of Everest, where breathing, who knows what they breathe. There's clearly not any oxygen up there. They're probably breathing birds. Like, they send little birds down into the valley, and then the bird comes back and they just go and they suck the oxygen out of the bird, and that's how they survive. I'm getting really distracted from what's actually going on screen right now. That was like totally tangent to the actual events that are going on. However, you can see me counting blocks, and what I'm doing right here is I'm creating a base for Mr. Wolfie Gregory, the great monument for the great wolf. And I wanted to start with a nice little platform so I'd have a flat area to work on, because I'm not about to build an uneven statue. Because you know what they say about uneven statues? Uneven statues topple to unfair dictators. Or unfair dictator statues topple to unsatisfied rebels. Perhaps I don't know. You might want to go to the Ukraine and verify that saying. I'm sure they would know the correct way to say it. That might have been it's probably a terrible thing to say. Just killed a little zombie. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. It's building a monument is a very hard life. You have to eat a lot of potatoes, have a lot of tools, and most importantly, have all of the clay in the world. So what I am doing here is I am building up the very first feet of the wolf, doing a bit of the counting, trying to figure out where exactly I want the placement to go, going back and checking my reference table. It's very nice. It's a very peaceful process. The wolf has very perky ears, so it makes a very nice, the very blockiness. He also didn't suicidally jump out the hole, which is a bonus. And it's going to look more like a meat dog than an actual wolf. Like, it's going to look like I took the skin off of the wolf because of the fact that white wool is pink and not white. I mean, I understand why the clay wouldn't necessarily be white because of the fact that that's just not how clay works. But maybe there's like a process you could put it through, like superheating or something. I don't know. I feel like they could come up with some way to justify. Actually, why do they even have to justify it being white? Since when is Minecraft stuck to realism? There's just, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just give me my white clay. Although we do have white glass now, and black glass, and red glass, and blue glass, and green glass, and light blue glass. Sounds like I'm saying grass. Actually, colored grass would be really neat. It would be a really great trick to play on your friends. You turn their whole land into a tie-dye field, and then you give them ecstasy, and you see how long it takes them to realize that you didn't actually give them ecstasy. You just gave them like a little dissolving piece of paper, and instead they're just actually having colored grass. That'd be an interesting prank, and probably illegal. I'm not sure what category that would fall under. Anyway, so what I'm doing here, oh my goodness, I keep smacking my microphone. I hope that doesn't come through on the other end. What I did here is there's different ways you can build up things. So what I did was I did like a platform method of building up my wolf, where I'm creating it layer by layer. I'm doing like a 3D printer thing where I create the base layer that has the basic outline of how I want the thing to look, and then I'm building up along the sides with the clay layer by layer until it's exactly how high I want it, and then I'm going to go back and add some detail around the edges and some other really neat things. And it's about to do a scene change now. No. Yes. Is this a scene change? I think the scene changed. I can't tell. It's playing it. The problem. this is the problem with me. Actually, you know what? There's no problem. I have right here by my side. I have blueberry Australian licorice, and I'm just going to tell you right now. If you ever see Australian licorice in a store, you'll know because it's made by Wiley Wallaby. It has a little like what looks like a kangaroo on the front of it, but it's actually a wallaby. Totally different things. Just Australian licorice. I'm trying to open the package here. Is the most delicious thing. Like, even if you don't like licorice, Australian licorice is amazing. I do not recommend you eat a whole bag in one sitting though, because I did that once, and I didn't. I got to enjoy it twice. One time sitting in my chair, eating it while playing video games, and the other time crying on the toilet. It wasn't that good. Yeah, but this is so good. It's so unprofessional that I'm eating right now, but it's just so tempting. I can't help it. Australian licorice is delicious. Anyway, the hardest part of this build was the tail, because I had to swallow my licorice there. On an actual wolf, the tail is just a straight block that comes out of its buttocks, and you can't do that. So I had to kind of build down in a staggered like fashion. It kind of looks like it's a sword, but it's not a sword. It's a tail. Oh well. When you like from a distance, I think it looks pretty good. It just, I don't know. I kind of like swordtail. I think my wolf suffers from the swordtail condition, but it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. But now the base shape is done, and now all that's really left is to go back and add the details like eyes and a mouth and toes and, you know, all that good stuff. The first thing I'm going to add, though, is a collar, which really starts to get the wolf there, because once the collar is there, you know, like this is someone's special wolf, and they love it, and it's amazing. So there goes the collar, and the collar adds a lot, because immediately you start getting differentiation between the wolf and the collar, and then you add the little ears, and then it starts to look cute, and then you put the mouth on, which is a very easy process. You just come out and build the square. And the problem is, I actually didn't build a block-to-block correspondence to a wolf, so it became very hard to get it to exactly match up with what a wolf is, because I kind of had to just kind of arbitrarily be like, oh, let's shave a block off here, shave a block off there. But that is what makes it art. So when you do not actually recreate the real life example, when you create a variation of it, then it is art. And here is mine. It was beautiful. I hope you all enjoy.